to break again. So he really needed to bust that with the lings he had, get rid of those Marines, and then he could have denied all mining at this location. Instead, now he's in just a little bit of a predicament. He's trying to target fire down the orbital. He can't quite get it, though. He's just going for some SCVs. He needs to be more careful with that muta control, though, losing quite a few mutas down to just 9. TaeJa taking out those destructible debris in case he has to fall back against banelings coming in, so he has a little bit more area to do so. 4th on the way as well from a Zerg over the 9 o'clock, so he just wants to expand in the opposite direction of TaeJa. Very intelligent. Terrans generally want to expand towards the Zerg. Zerg wants to just stay as far away as possible, have as much space between them and what they're defending. And he's just going to go in. Wow, banelings just streaming in. TaeJa is trying to get his Marines out of there, lifts a couple of them, is unloading a couple at a time from that medevac. But an excellent spread. Will it be enough? The banelings are just going to go for the SCVs. And wow, so many mules. That was like, I think 6 mules went down right there. Unbelievable damage, but has it been enough? Look at that workers killed tab. 36 workers killed from all the baneling attacks, and we're at 53 SCVs to 69 drones. So definitely a nice economic advantage for a Zerg. TaeJa looks like he's just a little bit ahead on upgrades, though. He's got double eBay pumping, so he's got 3-2 on the way. Whereas our Zerg's just at 1-1 with 2-1 about to complete. So TaeJa will be pretty far ahead in the upgrades pretty soon. As if you've ever watched a TaeJa game before, once he hits 3-3, the game's usually over. So you got to be careful if you just allow him to get that big of an upgrade advantage over you. Also, this creep spread has been dealt with quite well, so TaeJa has a lot of space to work with around this expansion. But our Zerg player's done an excellent job just keeping the Marine count low all game. Looks like he's just massing up lots and lots of banelings, lings, and mutas. Not advancing his tech. Still no infestation pit. So no hopes of, trying to go up into any type of quick hive here. Just going to be staying on Lingbane Muta, which, as you get later and later in the game, as the Terran gets better and better upgrades, that composition just starts to not really work out that well for you. So I'm a little bit concerned that he's not continuing his tech here, but, maybe he'll be able to make it work. I think these replays were chosen by TaeJa, though, so he probably chose winning replays. I could be wrong about that, though. I'm not sure. So, and I certainly haven't watched these replays before. Oh, Muta's coming in. TaeJa, a little bit greedy, has not put up a single turret. Wow, Battle Knight connection lost. That's interesting. Not a single turret here. He's very confident in his Marine control, very confident in his map awareness. That's such a risky move to take. Look at that. Not even a single turret in his main. Terrans are getting so good at defending against mutas. It's kind of ridiculous. This is why so many Zergs just stop going muta and just go infester every game. Usually Terrans just always have turrets in position, have Thors, are ready to go, have Marines in place, have really good control, and you can't really do any damage. But TaeJa apparently is comfortable with no or very few turrets. Just really shows how efficient he can be when defending against mutas. He did lose a gas there, though, so I mean, it doesn't really matter. Look at the amount of gas he has. Usually at this stage of TVZ, you have more gas than you know what to do with, because all you're spending money on is Marines, sometimes mixing in medevacs, maybe some Marauders, sometimes mixing in tanks or Thors, but TaeJa hasn't even been doing this. It's just Marines. Look at his production. Just Marines and +3 armor. Just Marines. Hilarious. Alright. So, I mean, he doesn't really need that gas. It's not really important that the Zerg took that up. Whereas our Zerg friend over here, of course, really desperately does need his gas. Flower Carapace on the way. Since he doesn't have his hive, he can't continue to +3 attacks, and he does have +2 attacks. And +2 Carapace for ground as well, but remember that's only one Evo chamber upgrading. So TaeJa's already at 3-2, 3-3 is halfway done. He's gonna have 3-3 around the same time that our Zerg has 2-2. And any Zerg that's played ZVT knows that's pretty brutal. 4th base as well, moving over for TaeJa. Plenty of SCVs transferring over there. Can take out that Zergling no problem with just attacking it if he wants with his SCVs. And it looks like just a couple Marines. Look at this. Force. Not even sending any medevacs. He's just keeping the Zerg busy over here. At the right side of the map, he's just going to send a group of Marines over to that base by themselves right before banelings pop out. Nice target fire. Going to get the split, though. Oh, he doesn't quite get a split and takes a lot of splash damage, but there's an excellent split on his Marines. Very, very efficient there. The mutas have gone over to help out, but that means they're not in the bottom right side of the map, so TaeJa's going to move forward to be aggressive over there. So while this attack got cleaned up, now he's moving forward with a lot of Marauders, taking out some creep spread. Could take out all these overloads if he wants. He's a little bit afraid of banelings streaming in on creep. That's why he just wants to take out creep tumors, leave his Marines behind him. You can see this is why it's so smart. Now the banelings roll in, but the Marines are so far behind. Look at him using this terrain to his advantage. If the banelings tried to roll in here, they'd have to go around this terrain. The Marines would all be behind them, killing them. It's just an awful situation for Zerg. It's really hard to deal with, but he is taking out this 4th base with those mutas. A couple Marines will force that back. It's always good when 400 minerals worth of Marines forces back like 2,000 resources worth of Zerg units. Because, of course, the strength of mutas is their mobility, not their attacking. Gotta get serious here. Somebody's gonna take me a little bit too seriously and think I'm trying to say that Marines are imba because they beat mutas or something. But you know what? Our Zerg player, even though he's taking a lot of aggression, he's done an excellent job holding on and actually staying up on food. Most players by now, from having watched a lot of TaeJa replays, would have just crumbled under the multi-pronged aggression that TaeJa's thrown out there, but he's just doing an excellent job despite losing a lot of creep spread, just keeping TaeJa from engaging and not going to bad engagements. That's the thing is that... Oh, a little bit of overstim there from TaeJa. That's the thing is that so many Zergs would see that, and they would just try to roll in and engage. And he's not falling for the bait. TaeJa keeps laying bait for him, and he's just not falling for it. Look at that. Do you see that bait there? Oh my god, he tried to force the mutas over to the left while he sent his entire army to intercept them. And our Zerg player here is way too smart. He sent his mutas around the opposite direction, avoided all the Marines. Excellent play. These are things that you don't realize. Like, from the Zerg perspective, you don't have vision of that. You have no idea what's going on. And it's something you only see from absolutely fantastic players that have such good game sense. They just kind of know where their opponent's going to go based on having seen so many opponents do the same thing. It's just phenomenal to watch. TaeJa going for some multi-pronged aggression here, just going to try to defend this third. He's not going to be able to defend it, though. It needs to be lifted. Oh, barely gets lifted, but it's going to die anyways to the mutas. And now TaeJa securing an excellent location. There are a couple infestors in here, though. But Marines are taking out the top left base right now. There are not enough defenses, but those fungals are so good. Oh, that next fungal actually wasn't that efficient, but took out like 4 Marines. Oh my god, look at those fungals. Ridiculous. These medevacs are getting so low on energy. All this infantry is so low on HP. This is not a good engagement from TaeJa. But actually, he split his units up on the top and bottom, and our Zerg player was unable to do the same. He just kind of attack moved down the lower area, so TaeJa able to take the advantage regardless. And remember that 3-3 upgrade against the 2-2 Bathelings and Lings is making such a big difference right now. Hopefully TaeJa will use all that gas he's got to bolster out some medevacs here because he really needs it. There's 3-3 finally started for our Zerg friend. And he's going for Ultras, an unbelievably bizarre choice considering his opponent is not going for any type of mech. He's not going Thor. He's not going Siege Tank. He's not even going Mass Marauder. He's basically... Well, Marauder would be even better against Ultras, but he's just going Marines. Which, you know what? Ultras can be okay against Marines, but they're just not that cost efficient usually, and they require excellent engagements. A lot of people will tell you, oh, only Ultras if you want to lose. That's not true. But they require excellent engagements. Just like Colossi. You can't just attack move the Colossi across the map, as I had to learn so brutally in beta. You have to actually send them out with a good unit composition and micro them well. Same thing with Ultras. You got to fungal this type of an army and send your Ultras in when the units can't kite away because they're being fungaled. And you need good surrounds. So replacement 4th being taken here from a Zerg. And of course TaeJa has his replacement 3rd up here, and he's defending very, very well. Economically, though, he's pretty darn low on harvesters, so he's hurting right now. He's hurting, you can tell by his Marine count. This is certainly a situation... Oh my god, that is exactly what he needed! He caught those mutas out of position in the middle of the map behind them. That is ridiculous. He just lost a ridiculous amount of money. Like, the amount of gas investment on those mutas. You have to understand that while it might seem like, he doesn't really need the mutas right now anyways, they're not going to help against this many Marines. It's not what the mutas do for you in an engagement, although that certainly helps being able to pick off medevacs and such. It's what they imply. The Terran can't really move out when you have mutas threatening harassment. And when you kill that many mutas, look at this. You don't even have to leave defenses at home. You don't even have to leave turrets. You just know your opponent can't counterattack you. You just leave a couple units to deal with Ling counterattacks. And you can just move forward for some aggression. Now, he doesn't have that much medevac energy, so he's got to be unbelievably careful about fungals. That's why he just keeps sending a couple units out in front to be able to see what's ahead of him. That's a lot of Ultras right there. 7 Ultras. Chitinous plating not quite done, though. He needs to wait for 3-3 and Chitinous. If our Zerg engages before these 3 upgrades, he will lose. I can just guarantee you that. But if he waits for them, it might be another story. He might still lose, but it will certainly be a different story. It will be a completely different engagement. It looks like TaeJa's going to go ahead and wait. He's going to fall back, decides he needs more to be able to deal with the possibility of those Ultras, perhaps. And that will allow 3-3 and Chitinous plating to finish. So that's a little bit unfortunate for TaeJa. Going to go for some drop play finally. We haven't seen pretty much any of that all game long from him. Since mutas have been on the field. Looks like he's finally feeling comfortable enough to be able to try that out. Our Zerg friend over here going to go for perhaps an engagement. Whoa, that's a little bit... Okay, I love that move. That's the sign of an excellent player. Send just a couple Lings ahead. Check what your opponent's army is, and then judge if you can beat it. It looks like he's judged that he can beat this army. Fungal's going down, but TaeJa has a pre-spread set up absolutely beautifully before the engagement. Now, he is taking a lot of fungal damage, but these Ultras are starting to get pretty split up. Unfortunately, TaeJa, though, just losing almost all of his infantry. The supporting units are gone, though, for the Zerg, so if he can just rally his forces and try to pick off these Ultras one at a time, he can be in a pretty good situation. But there are still a couple Fungals left, and those Fungals are just tearing him to pieces. This almost looks unwinnable for TaeJa right now. He's just in such a brutal position. 32 armies to 49. He has almost, well, he has no economy now. He has almost no no army. I mean, this looks like GG right now. I'm surprised he sent us this replay. I mean, I've seen TaeJa make some unbelievable comebacks, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. It looks like our Zerg is very well. Yeah, there it is. GG gets called out. He's very well defending against the drops. So TaeJa actually ends up losing to this mystery Zerg. I wish I knew who it was. It almost could be Dongreku from that playstyle with all the Mito play into the later, much later infestors and later hive. Well, sometimes he likes to go for a much quicker hive. But excellent play by that Zerg player. I really got to commend him because all game long, the #1 most important thing that so many players undervalue in this game is positioning and handling of engagements. It's something that so many players just kind of, they're like, all right, well, I have an upgrade advantage, I have a unit advantage, I have a food advantage, let's go for it. And like that moment when TaeJa had all his Marines right here, I guarantee you probably 90% even of professional Zergs, I'm talking professional Korean Code and Code S Zergs, even against them, you'll still see them make the mistake of like, nah, I got the unit advantage, I'm just going to go for it. And they go for the engagement. That is not what we saw this Zerg player do all game long. While he couldn't really do that much damage to TaeJa's economy, although he killed off a lot of SCVs with Banelings early on in the game here, TaeJa couldn't ever do damage to him. TaeJa was posturing all game long around these locations, trying to put on damage, trying to kill off bases, and all game long, our Zerg friend over here just refused to engage unless TaeJa walked out of bounds, basically, into his territory. And it's just beautiful to watch a player that is that intelligent with their engagements, because it's something that I can sit here all day from my lofty observer chair, and I can talk all day about, you shouldn't engage there, there's Marines, what are you doing? It's an awful positioning, but you don't know that when you're in game. You don't have full map vision. It's so unbelievably difficult to know, have that game sense. No, my opponent's units are going to be here. I'm gonna go ahead and not engage there, or send a couple lings ahead, check exactly where your opponent is, and then go for it. Or some players will drop a couple infested Terrans out in front to do that type of play, especially to tell how many siege tank shots attack them. So an excellent game from that Zerg. It was still a good game from TaeJa. I'm surprised he sent it in though with him losing, but that's cool to know that he's not ashamed and he's willing to send in just good replays overall. This is a pretty hard map to play against Zerg. I actually haven't seen any statistics for it yet, so I don't know if that can be backed up by data or not, but for my feelings of having played this on ladder and having spectated some games on it, it's just a very open map. It's hard to get choke points to abuse your opponent. There's really far away like counterattack paths that you can utilize. There's just not a lot of closedness on the map. Although I'm still wondering why TaeJa took the 3 o'clock as his first expansion. I feel like maybe it was like a ninja expansion, but in any case, it was pretty bizarre. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was the first YouTube cast for the ESV TV new YouTube channel. I was doing it live on Twitch TV for those of you watching later on YouTube, so that's why there's any little, maybe bit of unprofessionalism in there. Who knows what. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll have some more games coming out in just a moment. Otherwise, follow ESV TV on Twitter and follow Korean Weekly on Twitter. I myself, my name is Orb, by the way. I should have probably mentioned that at the beginning of the cast. My name is Orb. I've been casting this. Hopefully you've been enjoying my casting. If so, follow me on Twitter at ORBTL. And you can keep up to date with any more casting or streaming that I'm doing. See you guys.